So now the next question that I want to share with you is this. I still haven't started. Why? Like, I've been learning, I've been doing. Wait, I stand corrected. I've been learning, not doing. Okay, so that's a hint. So I still haven't started. Why? What is actually happening? Now, you may think that this is a newbie situation, but no, this actually happens to intermediate marketers. Means they know everything, intermediate. They kind of understand the whole thing, but they still haven't got started. Why is that so? The logic is actually, if you are facing that, it's because you love to learn more than do, right? Everybody loves to learn, and you happen to be one of those people who enjoy learning so much. So you continue to learn, and you are somewhat having the mentality that you still haven't learned enough for you to take action. So when I'm teaching you this, I want you to know this that when I say this, when I critique it to you, it is in no intention to critique you in that sense, but to help you to have your breakthrough so that you will not be stuck in this situation. Because either you are consciously asking yourself why I haven't started, or unconsciously means that you don't even realize that you haven't got started. We need to address this in order for you to move forward. So the way how I look at it, and I know this answer because I have so many clients and most of them falls into almost the same situation. They just love to learn. But the actual situation is that they don't like to take action simply because of two reasons. One is action is not fun, action equals to work, action equals to pain, learning equals to fun. It's nice to be more knowledgeable, but it's not nice to actually do it. Like for instance, it's nice to learn how to the psychology of writing a sales page. It's fun to learn that, right? But then you will go, oh, now I got it. Now it is how people sell. This is how it gets people to buy. But doing it, like sitting down and actually writing it, it's not that fun because now you really need to think, and you have to allocate your time to do the writing. So that could be the reason. The other reason, which is deeper than ever, in a sense that it's very deep inside you that you do not realize unconsciously, is that you are too fearful. You are too fearful that if you do take the action and you don't get the results, right? You cannot face it. You cannot accept the reality that you cannot get the results. Whether you are worried that other people will look at you like a failure, or you yourself could not accept it. So, for instance, right? What do I mean by others? So, let's say you have a husband, right? Let's say you're a woman and you tell your husband that you're gonna start this digital e-commerce, you're going to be very successful, you'll be able to generate income and so on. So your husband trusted you and he said, okay, dear, I will give you the support, moral support, financial support, all the support for you to do it, and you're very happy about it. Then he said, if I take action, if I sort of flop, I cannot face the truth because now I'm going to disappoint my husband. Or if it's the other way around, if your husband is the person that is not too supportive and say that, you it will never work, darling. This is all these are scams, okay, right? And you fight against that and you insist that no, this is workable. I'm going to prove it to you, right? And you are worried that if it didn't turn out the way how you claim it to be, right, you're going to get the typical I told you so. And, everybody hates that, right? Including me. I don't like to be pointed out that, hey, you are wrong. So that's the reason why you did not take action, right? Because one of those is that you're just too lazy and you do not want to work, or you are worried to fail. Like subconsciously, you cannot accept the reality that you are not going to get the results, right? You just didn't take action, right? And this is usually at a very subconscious stage. The other thing is that if you haven't taken action, it is not because you lack of knowledge, which is true. You could be lack of knowledge, but you have to ask yourself this, which I do not know your stage at this moment of time. I do not know what training you have gone through and so on. I mean, how many modules you have gone through and so forth. This is something that you have to ask yourself, is that have you got started in terms of the knowledge that you need to acquire to get started, right? So if you don't have that, you got to have that, and that's a fair argument. You can't get started if you do not know how to get started. But let's say you have that and you still haven't got started, right? Why? The other reason is simply because you're way too comfortable. You don't have the drive. You just, well, if this works out, it's great. If it doesn't work out, well, nothing really happens. Or, someone may complain to you, like your spouse or your kids or your mother or your father, right? May complain to you to get things done, but you know that it is not at the peak yet. Like, that's not going to be an explosion yet. That it is still fine. They can still tell you to do it, but you can still delay, procrastinate, and nothing will happen. In other words, you are in a very comfortable situation. So this is why you don't take action, right? You do something else, right? Just try to think about that. Is that true or not? I do not know, but here I am trying to help you to overcome that. So you have to be sincere with yourself. Now, I know that for me, that is the reason why I take action or I do not take action. But you see, to me, when I take action, even though I'm comfortable right now, I would focus on if I don't take action, I will not be this comfortable anymore. So it is just how you actually train your mind to think. Because if you understand that everything is in your mind is the one that creates your reality. Do you understand that? Like everything, like the whole thing, it is how your mind is telling you. This may sound hocus pocus, and I am not going to go through that. I mean, I read so much about all this mind stuff and so on, but not those, those subconscious law of attraction stuff. I'm not referring to those. I'm referring to the science behind how your mind is actually working and how your so-called brain is wired in that sense. So I make sure that it's wired in a way that is enforcing me to take action. So how is your brain wired in that sense? So if you cannot go through that process of taking action in the sense that you are still not taking action and you're still in the learning phase, then you have to get yourself uncomfortable. And here's how. Let's say you don't have a job right now and you are still doing learning process because you are not in the red zone yet, right? How long can you last? Whatever savings that you have, how long can you last? You get to figure that out and work backwards from now. Let's say you can last for the next 6 months. At this level, at this pace that you're going, how long can you last? In 6 months' time, when the well is dry, as in that your income, your savings is dry, can you continue to be as happy at this moment of time? Ask yourself that question. If it's not, it's a very, very scary situation when you have no money and you can't launch your online business yet simply because it's going to take time to build a business. It's not going to happen overnight. But the good news is if you start now, you have 6 months to get that moving. So, but if you know that your well, which is your bank, is going to dry up in like 30 days, I would suggest to start panic, for you to start get worried that you're going to be in red zone very, very quickly. So that is basically to answer to you about why you haven't got started. And it's not any external factor, but it is you who are actually controlling your own action of getting started or not.